are back here in Washington, D.C., getting ready for our feature fight of the evening, which will have Riddick Bowe going against Pinklon Thomas and Michael Marley. As we get set for this fight, first of all, let's take a look at the biography of one Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe, 23 years of age. He resides now in Fort Washington, Maryland. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and his boxing idol, the great Muhammad Ali. And earlier, Michael Marley had an opportunity to ask him a couple of questions.
Pinklon Thomas, former world heavyweight champ. A lot of people think he's on the decline after losing his title to Mike Tyson, then being pounded by Holyfield. How much do you think Pinklon Thomas has left, Riddick?
I think Pinklon has a lot to offer. He's proven that. Again, he's lost to great guys such as Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. These guys were better prepared, and they just proved to be the better fighter. But in fighting Pinklon tonight, I think it would be a learning experience for me and a chance for me to show the people that I'm a much better fighter.
What's your timetable for a world championship fight for yourself?
Well, we have a whole saying, we're not going to rush anything, but on the other hand, we're not going to waste any time. When the opportunity presents itself, and with my training, manager feels I'm ready, then we'll take our opportunity, such as fighting Mike Tyson or Buster Douglas.
You know, it's interesting. Eddie Futch, you spoke to Eddie earlier. Eddie told you, he had mentioned earlier when he took over Riddick Bowe's career, he had mentioned the fact that he didn't have much time to waste, and yet this has been a very slow process with Riddick Bowe.
Well, they're not in a hurry. They feel that they have a golden future. There's multi-millions of dollars to be made with Riddick Bowe. And right now, it's an age-old boxing script. The rising young prospect fighting the faded former world champion. We'll see if Pinklon Thomas has anything left.
Does Pinklon Thomas have anything left? Let's take a look at this man who is now 32 years of age. Pinklon Thomas with a record of 30 wins against 4 defeats. He resides in Orlando, Florida. His boxing idol, Joe Louis, and he gets kind of defensive when asked certain questions about his future by Michael Marley.
At the age of 32, coming off, you lost the fight to Tyson and to Holyfield. How do you get it all back together to go after another title fight? You told me you got your
Some of the great champions of all time, man, held title, defending titles after 32. Muhammad won it for the 3rd time at 32. Archimore won it at 48. You know, Larry Holmes retired at 38. I mean, Archimore won it at 48. What is the 32 thing? You know, it don't mean nothing, man. This boy's a young boy, got more knockouts than he got fights. I'm gonna whoop him all over the ring tonight.
Well, a little surly. Ben Franklin once said, surly to bed, surly to rise, whatever. But Pinklon Thomas, now I was speaking to a couple of his friends who are here, guys who've worked with him, and you hear this constantly from boxing people. He has never looked better in his life. I remember when he fought for the championship and he won. He's even better now than he was. Can that possibly be, or is it the Pinklon Thomas we have seen of recent note?
Well, you know, if you're going off his last performance, it would really be difficult to say that, because Pinklon Thomas, you see the staring contest in the ring. Riddick Bowe staring Pinklon Thomas down. But Pinklon Thomas, as evidenced by our interview, in a fighting mood perhaps, and maybe he'll give a good account of himself.
It's kind of interesting, as we heard the surliness of Pinklon Thomas and that stare that he gave you when you asked the question, but yet when Riddick Bowe started up with him, it kind of fell apart a little bit. He started smiling.
Well, I mean, if we're dealing with reality and we're looking at recent results, it looks like a last hurrah for Pinklon Thomas. We'll see if there's one hurrah left. But he did lose his last fight to a runner in Mike the Bounty Hunter. Now, Mike the Bounty Hunter is essentially a spar mate for Mike Tyson and other top fighters. So, unless that was a fluke, you'd have to think that Pinky Thomas doesn't have too much left.
Let's go up into the ring right now to Rich Daniels.
Wow.
Oh, say, can so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, and on the
Tamara Master Wild. She's a 15-year-old, the youth mayor of Washington, D.C. It was lengthy, but let me tell you, you're not going to hear many better versions of our national anthem than that.
I don't think that improved Pinklon Thomas's mood any. He's still scowling over in the corner. So the sweet voice of youth not cheering Pinklon Thomas up.
Mr. Rock Newman.
Rock Newman, the promoter of these fights, being introduced. Sellout, standing room only crowd here in our nation's capital.
The manager, Rock Newman, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2, Congressman from the city of Chicago, Illinois, the Honorable Gus Savage. The First Lady of Radio in Washington, D.C. is here tonight. The popular owner of Magic 102.3 and the talk show hostess of WOLAM, Miss Kathy Hughes. Now to some fighters we would like to invite into the ring. First, the 1988 gold medalist in the light heavyweight division. Please welcome Andrew Maynard. We have 2 world champions in attendance. First, from the IBF, he is the current welterweight champion of the world, Simon Brown. And the WBC, also the welterweight champion of the world, DC's own Maurice the Bitman Blocker. Also from the District of Columbia, he's the NABF lightweight champion, Tyrel Tyson.
Bert Cooper, top heavyweight.
Also in attendance, one of the top heavyweights in the world, Smoking Bert Cooper. Bert Cooper. And last but certainly not least, he's a 6-time world champion, none other than Sugar Ray Leonard. And ladies and gentlemen, a champion in his own right, he's the Honorable Mayor of Washington, D.C., Mayor Marion Barry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready for our main event of the evening. Fight Night at UBC. Brought to you by Spencer Promotions Incorporated together with Rocket Newman Productions. Sanctioned by the DC Boxing and Wrestling Commission. Jeffrey Gilmore, Chairman.
Makes you wonder, Spencer, whether Sugar Ray Leonard might have any political ambitions once he's finished with boxing.
Why is that?
The reception he got here tonight, if he's running for office, I'm certain he'll be elected.
It was a better reception, I feel, the mayor got. It was
Well, and then he
mixed, a little mixture as far as the cheers with a few boos spattered in.
Well, Sugar Ray took a bold step. He embraced Mayor Barry. That's what made me think of it.
Thompson. All right, DC, are you ready for the main event? First, the blue corner is the
closer we get to fight time, Pinklon Thomas looks unhappier and unhappier.
Well, the longer these introductions drag out, the man can become a veritable volcano. Who might have wrote?
Washington, D.C.
Going to be interesting as they come to the center of the ring.
Pinklon didn't want to come to the center of the ring. He's definitely an unhappy camper.
Sylvester Stevens, the referee.
Fellas, whoever scores the knockdown, I'd like for you to go to the furthest corner.
Stare.
I want you to watch your punches, watch your head, watch your little record, okay? Keep your gloves closed when you're punching at all times. Good luck to both corners.
So, Riddick Bowe against Pinklon Thomas. Let's check out the tail of the tape and the size of these two heavyweights as they get set to square off in a 10-rounder. 9 years age differential for Thomas. Height Bowe a couple of inches, and the reach Riddick Bowe's got 4 on him. We're underway. Both with white trunks, but Pinklon Thomas with a black stripe. What kind of shape was he in? Can he still do it at the age of 32? As he told Mike Molly, what's wrong with being 32? Hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with being 32. When you're a fighter, there could be a lot wrong, particularly if you had as rocky and roller coaster a career as Pinklon Thomas.
Well, not only did Thomas take those back-to-back beatings by Mike Tyson and then Evander Holyfield, but he also had a serious bout with drug addiction. He says Monday will be his 19-month anniversary off the alcohol and drugs, and so apparently he's been successful so far in getting rid of those addictions. But that couldn't have helped his physical condition, and I think Pinklon looks a little puffy. In fact, looks older than 32. It just doesn't appear to be right.
Riddick Bowe at the age of 23.
Well, there's the big right hand. You know, Bowe's going to look to take him out with that chopping right, Spencer. That's the trademark. Riddick Bowe, he'll hurt you with a left hook and then bang you out with a right hand. Pinklon Thomas has to establish himself here in the opening round. There he got out jabbed by Bowe.
Pinklon Thomas has lost a lot of his sleep.
I think
He's sticking that jab in there nicely as Riddick Bowe. His last win, a 3-round knockout of Bart Tucker.
good left hook thrown by Thomas. He just hit the top of Bowe's head, but that was a good shot.
Everything in his career has been a knockout except for 2 fights. His 3rd fight against Gary Lane, a 4-round decision. 3 fights ago, Eddie Gonzalez, an 8-rounder, also a decision.
And I got to tell you, Riddick Bowe looked horrible in that fight against Gonzalez. Just a lackluster, albeit winning effort.
Knocked out Manny Contreras in the 1st and Art Tucker in the 3rd. Thomas with the black stripes and the white trunks. The solid white trunks belong to Riddick Bowe.
He's wobbled. Pinklon Thomas is wobbling.
Thomas getting pumpy under his right eye. That left jab sticking in there by Riddick Bowe. Second round, scheduled 10-rounder. First round, you go with Riddick Bowe.
No doubt about it. Pinklon Thomas really landed one punch. Left hook to the top of Bowe's head. A little showboating by Riddick Bowe. No need for that.
When you watch Thomas throw that jab, it has no sting on it. He's just kind of pushing it out. Push, push, push. Instead of zap, zap, zap.
Well, what Bowe should do is concentrate his attack on the body. You can see the rolls around Pinklon Thomas's midsection. He's not in the greatest of shape. Already puffing. What Pinky Thomas is doing now is just cashing in on his former good name.
championship with a 12-round decision over Tim Weatherspoon in Las Vegas back in 1984. Defended it once with a victory over Michael Weaver, and then was beaten, losing a 12-round decision to Trevor Durbin in March of 1986.
There's the body attack by Bowe. He's got him hurt.
Thomas is in trouble. Good combination.
You saw the knees wobble. That's the sign of an old finished fighter. Nice uppercut by Bowe on the inside, right uppercut. It's really just a
good right uppercut.
It's a matter of time, Spencer, because Thomas is offering no offense of his own. Good left hook by Bowe.
Just blindly coming in, and there's some blood.
There's a
on
cut.
The eye, right eye of Pinklon Thomas.
There's a cut. I think it's on the lid of the eye, Spencer, and it's coming right down into the eye. Good left hook by Bowe. Sylvester Stevens, he's warily eyeing Pinklon Thomas's cut eye. See how when Thomas throws punches, he's missing. He's not even close with his shots. Well, so far, Pinklon Thomas has really shown nothing.
It's been all Riddick Bowe as we get ready for the third round. How much further do you think Pinklon Thomas can go?
Well, I thought he'd get taken out in that round. Again, he's shown nothing. And, you know, while I'm being highly critical of Pinklon Thomas, I don't mean to denigrate Riddick Bowe. He did not put Pinklon Thomas into this fight. It's past time, really, to step up the opposition for Riddick Bowe. He's too good for his own good.
As we were talking before, you think maybe a little too slow they're bringing over?
I think the timetable has to be sped up. Riddick Bowe, at the age of 23, still learning, yes, but he needs better opposition so people can see just how good he is. It's really not fair to him to keep fighting Pinklon Thomas type opponents.
It's strange how the heavyweight division, which kind of like women's tennis was dominated by one or two people for so long a period of time, has suddenly become crowded, and Riddick Bowe has joined the crowd.
Well, that double left hook really hurt Thomas. He's out on his feet. Riddick Bowe going to town.
The bravado is gone from Pinklon Thomas.
They say Bowe knows boxing. I hope Pinklon knows it's time to pack it in. Time to quit boxing.
Bowe knows. This Bowe knows too. Good left hook.
Oh, there's a bolo shot.
He doesn't look like he's going to make it to this one.
Well, how he's standing up right now, I don't know. Another left hook. Short left hook to the jaw. And Sylvester Stevens, the ref, Spencer, has to be thinking about stopping it unless Thomas answers back. Say this for Pinklon Thomas, still has the heart of a champion. A lot of guys would have, laid down, would have gone right to the canvas after taking some of the shots he took. But he's in there, now he's trying to come back.
Bowe just biding his time.
Bowe's looking to take him out with that uppercut on the inside.
Now, this is not the old Pinklon Thomas. Pinklon Thomas is going to have to sit down, watch a tape of this, and make a decision about his leg. Similarly, he's hurt. He's fatigued.
He's staggering really about the ring, and it's sad to see it, but an age-old boxing script being played out.
Requiem for a heavyweight.
Exactly. Now looks like that left eye is puffed up too. Although Thomas comes back with a left hook. Really, you can count the punches Thomas has landed, though, on one hand. But he's going to get through this round, it looks like.
The fourth round we're ready for it, and it's been all Riddick Bowe as we move to his corner.
How's that?
He just dominated these first 3 rounds, and I'm amazed at the fact that Pinklon Thomas is still on his feet. And there you see they work on the cup.
Yeah,
Below right eye.
they're trying to close up that eye, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I get that last round 10-8 to Riddick Bowe. He had Thomas hurt twice, 3 times.
Riddick Bowe, what a physical presence. 6'5", 230 pounds. I mean, he's tight end material. All-pro linebacker material. 6'3", 227 for Pinklon Thomas.
Well, I'm trying to figure out Riddick Bowe right now. I don't, he should go right on the offensive and take this man out of there. You can see the swelling around the left eye, the left jaw. There's the swelling around the left side of the face of Pinklon Thomas. That's testimony to the physical beating that Riddick Bowe has been dishing out.
This is the 4th round. You're just measuring right there. 4th round of a scheduled 10-rounder.
Nice 1-2 by Bowe.
There's nothing left in the Pinklon Thomas punching arsenal.
I think Riddick Bowe may have had tougher work in sparring with Art Tucker. I don't know exactly what he's warning him for. I think he's warning him for palming. Hitting with an open glove. That's the only thing I could see, but can't see that Thomas is doing anything else in the ring that would displease the referee.
I'll tell you, I'm surprised at the kind of round we're seeing from Riddick Bowe. It's been a non-round up until this point. I think get the feeling he might be carrying him a little, just getting some minutes in the ring.
I don't think Riddick Bowe would want to do that, and I think he'd get a scolding from the Dean of Trainers after much, but I think he's just frustrated. He had the man hurt about 5 times now in the bout, and he's still banging away like a statue, and that's about as mobile as Pinklon Thomas has been. It's like a statue that doesn't want to go down. So Riddick Bowe just keeps chipping away. Now
what's the problem there?
Oh, tape loose apparently on the glove, right glove of Pinklon Thomas, and at least that gives Pinklon Thomas a breather.
Something he can use.
And Riddick Bowe catching a huff and puff in his corner. That's what it is. The trainer's fixing the tape.
Riddick Bowe just waiting for his cosmetic repair.
Used to be a well-known trick in boxing. When your man needed a breather, you put a cigarette hole in his glove between rounds. Another trick is to unloosen the tape.
Teach him how to spit out that mouthpiece a few times. Well, we had a tail of the tape earlier. This is tail of the tape version 2.
Well, Pinklon Thomas seems to be upset. I don't know. He's mad at his corner. He's not happy.
Excuse me, Mike. He's mad at his corner. You put the tape on me. Let me get back in the ring.
Exactly. But my point is, it just doesn't do Pinklon any good to get mad at the corner.
No.
Get mad at Riddick Bowe. That's another story. Now the referee is not happy. Sylvester Stevens, the referee, wants the other glove fixed, apparently. So both the left and right gloves.
If these guys were a pit crew at Indianapolis, they wouldn't get the car back on the track. Meanwhile, back in the center of the ring, in the corner with Riddick Bowe, trainer of the great Joe Frazier, another heavyweight champion, Larry Holmes. And he kind of thinks that this young man, and hopefully we'll be able to have that interview. If we can't, though, let me just preview it a bit, Michael. He thinks at this stage, 12-3, Riddick Bowe is a better fighter than Larry Holmes.
He definitely compared him favorably with the young Larry Holmes. You know, we talk about the fighting heart of the boxers. I should point out, 79 years young Eddie Futch in the corner tonight, despite the fact that he can barely walk. He's having hip replacement surgery, going to have an artificial hip surgically implanted next week, but yet he's here with his man, Riddick Bowe.
This could be the last hurrah right here for Pinklon Thomas, as he's trying. He had a pretty restful fourth round, and he comes out here trying to throw some punches.
Despite his ailing hip, Eddie Futch is moving more nimbly than Pinklon Thomas. Well, Riddick Bowe's job, quite simply, is to take this man out of here now.
Two previous fights. No reason for Riddick Bowe to do what he's doing right here.
That's the old boxing phrase, one can't fight and one won't fight. No need for Bowe to embarrass Pinklon Thomas. He's always been a courageous fighter.
And I think that's a very good point you made. Pinklon Thomas has been a courageous fighter. He has been a champion. Do not do this to this man, no matter what he's been through. And he's being berated when he did it.
That's manager Rock Newman. He's unhappy. I don't think Eddie Futch is thrilled either with Bowe's performance, but really the riddle of Riddick Bowe. One fight he looks spectacular, next fight he looks good, bad, and indifferent, all at different points in a fight. Still got a tremendous future. As for Pinklon Thomas, past.
Stages of this fifth round, scheduled for 10. Question is, how long might this one last? We'll find out. Well, Pinklon Thomas has made it into the sixth round. Spencer Ross along with Michael Marley were ringside in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. A packed house on hand. It has been all Riddick Bowe in the corner of Pinklon Thomas. A great deal of concern and some work on that right eye.
Well, Willie Barber, the trainer now for Pinklon Thomas, was screaming at him. I don't think that's going to have much effect.
This is your territory.
I've got a 50-46, all Riddick Bowe to this point.
We go to the sixth round.
It's tough to envisioning the script changing here.
Times when fights do turn, but you see certain things that can indicate and let you think that the possibility exists. The fatigue on the fighter who is ahead because of the effort he's expended, but right here, there's just doesn't seem to be any chance.
Well, Riddick Bowe really hasn't been hit a real solid shot. There he lands a nice right hand.
Thomas is in trouble. Good uppercut that time by Riddick Bowe. You want to see the flurry from Riddick Bowe. The stuff of which champions are made of. And you see the potential there. And occasionally we've seen those kind of flurries, but you'd like to see more of them.
There he's triple jabbing poor Pinklon Thomas. Pinklon Thomas just a game loser at this stage of his career. Took this fight for very little money, Pinklon Thomas, and looks like the end of the trail. One of those kinds of fights, Spencer, where the loser, but the best offer he'll get maybe is to wind up as a sparring partner for Riddick Bowe, the top young heavyweight. That's sad, but that's the reality of boxing. Pinklon Thomas at the age of 32, who knows how badly his body was ravaged by the various bouts he's had with drugs. As a young man, he had a long period of heroin addiction. He beat that. The last few years, he battled crack cocaine problems, alcohol problems, and so he may not have the typical body of a 32-year-old former heavyweight champ. May have paid the price for all those years of drug abuse.
Right here, after that early flurry in the 6th round, there's the big right hand by Riddick Bowe. Thomas may yet weather another round. And the 6th round is history. Riddick Bowe unable to put Pinklon Thomas away once again. Go to the 7th round. Interesting that Pinklon Thomas, as impressive as he has looked on occasions in this fight, he should be able to take Pinklon Thomas down, and he hasn't been able to do it yet. He hasn't been able to put him in the canvas yet.
You know, one of the saddest vignettes I remember in recent boxing history, Pinklon Thomas, when he held the title, they were going to see Riddick Bowe pounding on him. That was with that right uppercut. But when he briefly held the heavyweight title, Pinklon Thomas didn't focus on boxing. In fact, before one of his fights in Vegas, title fights, he was in the lobby of the Hilton Hotel trying to sell these records that he had come out with. He wanted to be a singer. Well, I think Pinklon Thomas may have sung his last professional boxing song.
Well, you asked me for what about a singing career? What did you say?
Well, he kind of snarled at me on that one, too. I didn't mean it in a smart alecky kind of way. He had a good voice, but just didn't have the right focus. When you're heavyweight champion of the world, you should be looking to peddle record albums on the hallway of the hotel lobby the day of the fight.
Certainly bad timing. Priority mix-up.
He'd be singing the blues after this one. Well, you know that Riddick Bowe wants KO next to Pinklon Thomas's name on his record. You know that Riddick Bowe won't be happy, not to mention Eddie Futch and manager Rock Newman. They'll be very unhappy as well should Pinklon Thomas somehow last the 10-round limit here.
In the 7th round right now, and again, only twice in his 18-fight career has an opponent gone the route with Riddick Bowe. That was in his 3rd professional fight I mentioned earlier against Gary Lane, a 4-round decision, and an 8-round decision 3 fights ago in April of this year in Las Vegas against Eddie Gonzalez. Everything else, KO, KO, KO.
Well, it's hard to criticize the record of an 18-0 Riddick Bowe, but if I could voice one minor criticism, and it's that Riddick seems to lose his concentration sometimes.
Right here, Pinklon Thomas is in a lot of trouble. Riddick Bowe looks like he's going to put him away here in the 7th round. He is defenseless at this point, is Pinklon Thomas.
Well, nobody could really ask for their money back. Pinklon Thomas, his skills totally eroded. I don't know how he stays up, Spencer.
He's rocking back and forth. He's off balance.
And Riddick Bowe can punch. Bowe has definite power. These are not love taps. He's ready to go now.
He is certainly out on his feet. The uppercut, the overhead right, another uppercut. And Pinklon Thomas is still standing.
I don't know why the referee's not stopping this fight.
Look at this. The man cannot stand.
This should be stopped. This is pathetic. There's just no point.
There's no way he can win this fight. He can only get very seriously hurt. There's the referee. That's what they call him, Sylvester Stevens. And just why he is continuing to allow. Now the doctor is coming into the corner to take a look.
Well, it's about time, Spencer. We've talked about that between rounds.
Is there a doctor in the house? He's here now. And I want to see if they're going to allow this fight to continue. Pinklon Thomas didn't know where he was.
Totally out on his feet, and that's how a fighter, in my opinion, well, not a neurologist, don't turn him over to a fighter could seriously be hurt. Talk about brain damage. There you see the pounding. I mean, it's just one shot after another. It's hammer time. And MC Hammer is Riddick Bowe. The hammeree, Pinklon Thomas.
Now look at this. The man can't even stand right here. Even when he's not being hit, he's rocking backwards.
Yet here we go, more of same.
And you wonder, you know, we're criticizing the referee. What about his corner?
Well,
throw it in.
Referee, the doctor, I think there's enough criticism to pass around. I don't know. This is a poorly officiated fight.
Would anybody criticize if we went to a commercial right now?
It would be the humane thing to do. I don't know what's wrong with Thomas's corner. Why they don't throw the towel in? I mean, this is pathetic. And these people supposedly care about Pinklon Thomas? Trainer Willie Barber not making a move, just watching the slaughter.
The left uppercut by Riddick Bowe as he continues to confuse Pinklon Thomas with a punching bag. Because that's what the former champion has become tonight.
I guess we're both editorializing, Spencer, but this deserves it.
Well, there's, you know, a former great tennis champion once said to me, Fred Perry. I said, come on out in the court. He said, no, I don't come out in the court. I want people to remember me the way I was, not the way I am today. Fred Perry, of course, 3-time Wimbledon champion. You'd like to allow this man at least the sense of dignity to be remembered a bit as to what he once was instead of what he's become tonight. He's become a punching bag.
This is really a bad advertisement for professional boxing.
I think we've said enough. Let's just, folks, you can watch it at home, and we'll watch it also. I think we've made our point very strongly. This fight should be stopped.
This is ammunition for the AMA and other people who want to abolish boxing. of it. That's it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Stevens stops it. The first pass at the corner of Pinklon Thomas.
He asked trainer Willie Barber if he should stop it, and finally Barber said the right thing. He said, yes, that's enough.
It was a no-doubter from about the third round on, and hopefully Pinklon Thomas will come out of this just a rather bruised man and can look toward the future for something else. How he was able to survive that barrage for 8 rounds is beyond me. Why he was allowed to survive it, why the referee, why his own corner allowed the barrage to continue. 8 round. Referee stops the fight, a technical knockout, and 19-0 now goes one Riddick Bowe. Bowe knows. We'll get back with the final decision, and Mike Marley will talk with undefeated Riddick Bowe when we return. It's Friday night back here in our nation's capital. Let's get the official decision.
Now the official decision. At the end of 8 rounds, the corner of Pinklon Thomas retired their fighter. The winner now by TKO with a record of 19-0, Riddick Bowe. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be 2 more fights this evening. Please do not leave. 2 more fights yet on the card this evening.
So Riddick Bowe makes it a perfect 19-0. Bowe knows indeed. And as elections begin to start in this country, they're carrying campaign placards around the ring. Bowe knows boxing. He certainly does. Bowe, 4 champion. Washington's next world champion, Riddick Bowe. Mike Marley is up in the ring trying to get Riddick Bowe's attention.
Okay, Riddick.
And let's go up and check in with Michael. Michael?
Congratulations, you stopped a former world champion. But let me ask you, I know you're an intelligent, compassionate young man.
I'll try to be.
Were you sorry that you had to keep pounding away? Didn't you think that could have been stopped a little earlier?
I thought so, but again, Pinklon is a great warrior, and he came to fight, and he's a diehard. I'd like to thank Pinklon also for giving me this opportunity. Again, the public was down on me, and fighting guys like Pinklon Thomas showed them that, I'm ready.
How do you think he stood up? Just fighting hard because you had him hurt 5 or 6 times earlier?
Well, that comes from great conditioning. Again, that just goes to show that Pinklon wasn't shape, but he came ready to fight.
Okay, trainer Eddie Futch, you got to be happy, but were you surprised that that fight wasn't stopped sooner? I mean, Thomas...
Right. I thought it should have been stopped the round before.
Just would seem to be taking a beating for no reason.
No reason at all.
Okay, quickly, what kind of a grade would you give your heavyweight prospect Riddick Bowe tonight?
Well, I'd give him an A-, I'd say.
Okay, Riddick, you got an A-. Riddick, an A- from Papa Smurf. Are you happy with that?
Oh, I gotta be satisfied with it. But I'm looking to improve, and maybe the next guy can help me get an A.
Okay, moving on up. You got an A- tonight. Riddick Bowe looking for an A from his professor, pugilistics professor, trainer Eddie Futch. Down to Spencer Ross at ringside.
Okay, we got 2 feature bouts. Both of them finished before their scheduled end. Eugene Speed, a 5th round TKO over Kenny Bazemore, and Riddick Bowe, an 8th round TKO.
Fighting out of Sharon Hills, Pennsylvania, smoking Bert Cooper. And in the blue corner, weighing in at 230 pounds, he was a silver medalist in the 1988 Olympics. He is undefeated with a record of 19-0, 17 by KO. Fighting out of Brooklyn, New York, Riddick Lamont Bowe.
Okay, I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning again, obey my commands at all times. Any question? Shake hands and good luck. Wait a minute.
So we get set, 10 rounds of the heavyweight division. And now Richard Steele says, wait a minute.
They said shake hands, and Bert punched him.
Fight.
And then when they came back, Bowe punched him. No shaking hands here. They want to get this thing started.
Now the thing to watch out for, Riddick Bowe has 17 knockouts in his 19 pro wins. 7 of those knockouts have come in the first round, but once again, he is about 10 pounds heavier, Ferdy.
He certainly doesn't look it. He still looks tall. I mean, he's a very tall man. He can certainly carry that 230. Now, what we got here is a very heavy punching Bert Cooper, who, if you stand in front of him, will give you a terrific bout. If you box him, he doesn't know what to quite do with you. You see the disparity in size.
And you see Cooper taking the fight right to Bowe.
Bowe's fight is to box. He's a superior boxer, to use his size and get away with him. Sometimes Bowe just doesn't pay attention. He's not focused. As I said, Eddie Futch has kept him right on track, but Eddie Futch had a hip operation which fortunately turned out very well. He is at ringside but not in the corner. He is not able to go up and down ring stairs yet, and of course that's what resulted in Riddick Bowe adding 10 pounds. With his trainer in the hospital, he just did what he wanted to.
You see Cooper trying the swarming attack, trying to get inside the reach of Riddick Bowe here in round 1.
Cooper is a warrior. If you stand in front of him, he will fight you all night long. You have to box, you have to give him angles. And right now, Riddick Bowe is doing nothing but catching.
You know, we mentioned that Bowe has 7 first-round knockouts. Cooper's 19 knockouts. 8 of them have been first-round knockouts. So both of these guys like to get it done in a hurry.
Well, Riddick better get on track somewhere along the line here, because he hasn't done anything as yet.
Hard to get out.
Now Bowe trying to back away a little bit. Once again, Cooper just stays right in his face.
Well, that's because Riddick is not using his superior height nor motion. He's not using his legs. I mean, here he is, this huge guy. All he has to do is move away from him and box him and jab him. He stands right inside, just within range of the little short arms of Cooper. Now, if Cooper can punch, it's dangerous to be that close.
Cooper with a lot of personal problems in the past. Says that has all been cleared up over the past 11 months. And you see him just trying to get inside. And Riddick Bowe, one of the keys for him is his jab, and we don't see it here.
He has no space to jab. He's got to have distance, and there is no distance. There's no daylight between these two guys.
Come on, one can get out.
So far, Cooper has done exactly what he wanted to do, and I would imagine that Bowe is in for tongue lashing when he gets back to his corner, because he has not fought the way he's supposed to.
Pull your arm back.
And although Cooper will get hit with some shots in there, when he's that close, there's no leverage from Bowe.
Bowe is, as you can see, a very tall and long arm guy. He needs some distance to punch, and he's not getting any. Cooper's just not letting him have any, nor is he trying to get any, and that's what he's going to hear about when he gets to the corner. Step back, get some room, now jab. Now right there, jab. Let that jab come in there hard.
Come on, work it, get out.
Cooper has taken the fight to Bowe as we hit the end of round number 1, and he scores with an uppercut inside. So smoking Bert Cooper heads back to his corner, as does Riddick Bowe.
And the guys that put down 10-1 on Cooper are already counting the money. They're looking at, they said, well, that first round is in, and keep him off at the end of your jab. Now, you see, now let's see how long he tries to keep that distance. There he is. That's the jab, and that's the distance he needs. This is what Eddie Futch wants. Move away when he moves in. Make him pay for it when he comes in.
And right now, early on, we're seeing that Cooper's coming up short because he can't get inside. He had his way in round 1. He just walked right in.
You've got to almost slap him in the legs and get him awake, Riddick Bowe, and get him focused. I mean, when he's focused, he's an excellent fighter, and he's a great prospect. But it's just difficult to get him to think every round and carry out the game plan. Right now, he's doing exactly what he should be doing and what Eddie Futch wants him to do.
This is Bowe's 7th fight of 1990, 6-0 with 5 knockouts. Cooper is 1-1 with 1 knockout here in 1990. Cooper last lost to Wayne Mercer back in August. Lost a 12-round decision.
And outside of the Tyson fight with Douglas, that might have been the finest heavyweight fight in the last year or two. They just went at it. But that's because Mercer's not a boxer, he's a puncher, and they like to stand in front of each other and let fly. Here you have a possibility of a great boxer to be showing his technique right there. That's the kind of thing that Bowe has to do. Good
uppercut by Bowe.
Well, the action heating up now as Bowe is landing some blows with heavy intention. That uppercut is exactly what Futch said. Once you get used to the jab, go with the uppercut.
Punch it out.
Nice right hand by Riddick Bowe.
All right, great. Step back, step back.
Richard Steele separating the fighters. A much better round number 2 for Riddick Bowe. When Cooper gets inside, he can do a little damage.
Get it back, get it back.
Oh, good right hand by Bowe. And Cooper is down.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You okay? Keep him up.
Will Cooper make it to the end of round 2?
Yeah, he's going to beat him.
Cannot be saved by the bell.
4, 2, 5, 3.
That is it.
Steele stopped and he is definitely out. He just came within 1 second of beating that belt. 1 second more and that would have been all. But that's a huge guy who is 6'4" and at 230 pounds. When he lands a right hand, believe me, that's electricity. That's power in the hands. Of course, I always felt Cooper was just too little against big heavyweights. You can't match him.
Riddick Bowe with a second round knockout as he puts down Bert Cooper for the second time at the end of the round, and Cooper could not get back up. Is that a preview of what we'll see later on, the moment of truth? The bigger man against the smaller man?
You have a different quality opponent than Bert Cooper in Evander Holyfield, who is not a small man. No matter what anybody says, he is going to be 210 today. He's 6'1". He isn't. This little guy is a little guy, and it's a completely different kind of fight. It's apples and oranges. We're not going to see the same thing.
Riddick Bowe with his 16th knockout in the first 3 rounds. He now has 18 career knockouts. He is 20-0. And really, he followed his corner's advice. After what we saw in round 1, we see it here in round 2.
Now, watch how well he lands that right hand. Now, when a big man like that lands a right hand of that nature and then follows it up with another, but the first one was already enough right there. You see how well he positions himself to throw the right hand? The classical fighter, he has the makings of a great fighter. If they can get him to concentrate, if he listens to Eddie Futch, if he comes along, he can be a powerhouse in boxing. Can Riddick Bowe. Let's look at it from a different angle. You see how it's just perfectly thrown and perfectly connected. Now the second one just icing on the cake.
So Riddick Bowe with a second round knockout over Bert Cooper for the 23-year-old from Brooklyn, New York. And let's take a look at the second knockdown, which came with a second to go in the round.
Yeah, that's really a race to the finish. He got up with like 13 seconds to go. I really thought he was going to beat the time, but it wouldn't have been any difference. It would have just meant that it would have gone a little bit longer. He'd have taken a little bit more punishment. This is probably more merciful. He was not going to get up. There was no way to do it. Riddick again displays good technique as a pro in finishing. He knew he had his guy in trouble. That little uppercut in there was devastating. Right hand followed by the left. It's just a rain of punches that are landing on poor Cooper, and he is out on his feet. He's out on the way down, and he was not going to get up. It was a short and sweet night for Cooper. I really don't think they should match Cooper against large heavyweights anymore.
So Riddick Bowe comes up
at 3 minutes and 9 seconds of the second round, and winner by TKO, Riddick Lamont Bowe.
That I can redeem myself and show to everybody and to the boxing world that that I am indeed going to be in contention for the heavyweight title.
Well, to me, I take every fight as it's the most important fight. So to me, I'm going in the fight thinking that Tyrel Biggs is the heavyweight champion of the world.
There's Riddick Bowe in the ring. He grew up in one of America's toughest neighborhoods, the Brownsville section of Brooklyn, that undefeated record. His apartment house was actually a crack house, and they had to dodge that coming and going. He's since taken his wife, children, and mother to Fort Washington, Maryland. And Tyrel Biggs, certainly he has had a successful boxing career, the gold medal in '84, but he has also had a very well-documented battle with drugs and alcohol. To put it simply, he was a crack addict, and Tyrel Biggs will be the first to tell you the greatest thing about his life is that he's been clean and sober for 6 years. Okay, here in the center of the ring, let's take a look at the numbers. And you see the 7 years in age difference, but other than that, only a quarter inch and a half a pound separate these two fighters. The rules will be the New Jersey State Athletic rules, a 10-point must system, the 3 knockdown rule, and the standing 8 are both in effect. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and both the referee and the doctor may stop the bout. Our referee is Frank Cappuccino there in the middle of the screen, and he gets his fight underway. Riddick Bowe wearing the all-white trunks, Tyrel Biggs in the black, and Tyrel Biggs takes a right hand right on the forehead, Alex.
He definitely wobbled, Dan, and he does not want to get into a trading contest with Riddick.
And Riddick Bowe, wasting no time, sensing his man's in trouble, smothers him.
Eddie Futch told us yesterday he has never, good left hook in retaliation by Tyrel. Eddie Futch, Bowe's trainer, said he has never had a man hurt and failed to finish him. He said he finishes very well.
Well, all of a sudden, you can see Bowe no longer moving forward.
No,
that's right. That left hand stopped him short.
Right dead in his tracks.
See some blood coming from the nose of Tyrel Biggs.
That is a chronic nosebleed he's had in many of his fights. But what the Bowe assault did do, Dan, was it got Tyrel out of his game plan. He is now standing flat-footed and getting into a little bit of a trading contest, and that is not to his advantage.
You saw the jab of Biggs score several times. It's a weapon he's going to need if he has a chance to win this fight. Well, this was the kind of action we were hoping to see in this fight, and it did not waste long. Riddick Bowe landed a right hand in the first 10 seconds of the fight. Our 3 judges today who would score this fight if they go the distance: Phil Newman, Lynn Carter, and Al DeVito. They'll come into play if it goes the full 10 rounds.
Started out like you just needed one official to count to 10, Dan, but...
A wild right from Bowe misses.
Even though Tyrel has bled from the nose on at least 5 of his fights, he does seem to be bothered by a little bit. He has been pawing at it.
Inside a minute here in round number 1. At times in his career, Biggs has had a very sharp jab. You see how effectively there he's using the left, keeping Riddick Bowe away from him.
Tyrel Biggs should be just shooting the jab like he did right there, Dan. He's flicking it right there. It can be a very sharp punch. He's a converted southpaw, and you would expect that a guy who's been turned around would have power in his left.
A good right hand to the body by Biggs.
Oh, there's the heavy jab.
Good solid jab to the forehead.
And an uppercut on the inside by Tyrel. He has fought back very well in this round 1.
We're coming to the end of round number 1 here in Atlantic City. Stay with us. In the second round. Around the first round where Riddick Bowe got in a telling shot early. It looked like Tyrel Biggs was in big trouble, and then he stopped Bowe in his tracks with a left hand, and from then on it was a pretty even round.
Tyrel fought back very, very well.
There's a good solid jab, that time by Bowe.
Eddie Futch told Riddick in his corner, he'll be looking for that right hand now, Riddick. Use your left.
Again, a reminder, Tyrel Biggs in the black trunks, Riddick Bowe in the white.
And another outstanding jab by Tyrel Biggs. The thing you worry about the jab, as good as it is he brings it back so low after he uses it. And when you're in with a man who punches as well with the right as Riddick Bowe does. That could be a terrible, terrible flaw.
There is Riddick's wife, Judy. She's at ringside and not displaying a great deal of emotion. I'm sure that's on the outside. Oh, there's a good left hand. There's a left and a right, and then the second left scored big that time for Riddick Bowe.
As long as Tyrel is going to wait and let Riddick Bowe get off first, he's not going to win this fight. He must dictate the pace with the jab. Keep Riddick Bowe from coming in. Try to keep him from getting his rhythm. Good body punch there by Riddick Bowe. And another right, and then came up top. Good combination.
There was a good left hand off the ropes by Tyrel Biggs. Well, you can see that was a conscious effort to the body by Bowe.
Tyrel's face already swelling up under both eyes, and I believe a little bit over the eyes. It's a war of attrition right now, Dan, and when you have superior strength and power like Riddick Bowe has, that just has to be to your advantage and to Tyrel Biggs' disadvantage.
Suppose you step back, right?
Oh, there's a good jab.
You see Tyrel bothered by the nose. It may be broken, and he may be having trouble breathing through it.
You can see him trying to clear it after every clinch.
And when you're having trouble breathing, obviously that plays into your stamina. And Tyrel's stamina, not as hard really, because he's fought back under adversity. Broken collarbones, 32 stitch cuts. But in terms of stamina, it has been a question mark at top competition.
This fight scheduled for 10. We're finishing the second.
All this paperwork, I can't get anything done.
Biggs and Bowe meet towards the middle of the ring. Now Bowe forces Tyrel Biggs over towards the ropes. What a good solid shot that was.
That's right. Riddick started to clown a little bit, make some faces at Tyrel, and he wiped the smile off his face with a real stiff jab. The other factor we should bring up, Dan, is Tyrel's tendency to cut. Terrible cut against David Bay, as we said, 32 stitches. Reopened the left eye against Tyson. Right eye busted up and caused a stoppage against Francesco Damiani. So that both eyes have a tendency to cut and cut badly.
And Tyrel Biggs is not doing a very effective job of keeping his gloves up and blocking the shots of Riddick Bowe. He's taken repeated hits to the head.
And he's also waiting too much. He just waited there until Riddick threw a three-punch combination.
Let him out. Let him go. Come on out.
Tyrel Biggs in the black trunks has to initiate the action. Work off that jab.
There's an attempt at an uppercut. It's been a very good punch for Riddick Bowe.
You know, it's only when you see that.
Oh, there's a shot to the back of the head by Tyrel Biggs. No warning, though, from Frank Cappuccino.
No, really, when the other man turns away like that, Dan, he has a right to punch him. That's Bowe's fault for turning away. That's the foul.
And there's Tyrel Biggs' father, James.
And you can see the look of concern as his son took another heavy right hand.
He got Tyrel started in boxing. He fought in school and in the Army, and interested his son at a young age to get involved in this sport. The jab flicking by Biggs is missing. The one by Bowe landed.
I started to say, Dan, these two guys are so similar in size, both 6'4" and change, both 225, that only when you see Frank Cappuccino, the referee in the picture, do you realize how big they are. Two huge men.
We're in the third round here at Harrah's in Atlantic City. Coming up on the 32nd mark. You can see that when that jab of Tyrel Biggs is effective in flicking out there, Riddick Bowe is a little cautious.
There, a good right hand, and Bowe's hurt.
Riddick Bowe is hurt. Riddick Bowe saying, "Come on in," but there was no doubt that he was hurt. Tyrel Biggs a fight of it.
Lay him out right there.
A reminder, this fight is scheduled for 10. And Tyrel Biggs, who's been on the short end of this fight up to this point, closed the third round with a flurry, and he hurt Riddick Bowe. Alex, he caught him clowning a little.
Solid right hand, and I think Tyrel was even surprised by the effect, because he's not supposed to be a big right-handed puncher. Eddie Futch in Riddick Bowe's corner. Stop clowning around. You're letting him get off first. Use your jab. Oh, good right hand that time by Bowe.
A lot of movement being shown by Biggs, but it's been Riddick Bowe who's had the big punch of this round, that right hand.
Yeah, this is ineffective movement by Tyrel. He's not landing anything. It's just Riddick just pushing him around the ring. Dan, we should note that's really about the first time either fighter has been up against the ropes. That this is a 17-foot ring. You might notice the flag there in the turnbuckle and back. Rock Newman, Riddick Bowe's manager, changed this ring this morning from a 20-foot ring to a 17-foot ring by adding an extra turnbuckle. And that clearly, against a fighter who is as mobile as the opponent is today, Tyrel Biggs, is to his fighter's advantage. So far, it's been a phone booth fight.
We'd like to remind our ABC stations that at the end of this round, we're going to be going to a station break.
Go, Tyrel. You're holding, Tyrel. Let him out.
You can hear Frank Cappuccino telling Biggs to stop holding.
Tyrell's thinking right now, Frank, I'm tired. I've landed a few good punches, but this guy's a buzzsaw.
Another good right hand, partially blocked by the glove, but some of it still landed. You could see it move the head of Biggs.
And I think I see blood. I'm not sure.
It looks like blood is coming from over the left eye
of Tyrel Biggs. That is the cut that we talked about, the first open, 32 stitches in it against David Bay. Opened again terribly against Tyson.
Well, of the two fighters right now, certainly Tyrel Biggs looking the much more beleaguered.
And the more desperate.
Yep.
Tyrel Biggs really has been...
That punch looked low. That left by Riddick Bowe appeared to hurt Biggs, and it was low, Alex.
And we should point out that the book on Tyrel Biggs is that he is vulnerable to the body, going all the way back to his amateur fights with Teofilo Stevenson.
And ABC's Wide World of Sports will return after this word from our ABC station. Top of Riddick Bowe's fights, 19 of his 21 professional fights have ended in 4 rounds or less. He's gone to the 8th round twice, won both of those. Eddie Gonzalez and Pinklon Thomas. And we're now here in the 5th. But that was another good solid round, Alex, for Riddick Bowe.
Solid round for Riddick, and he seems to me, Dan, to have started a little bit slowly here. I mean, this is to Tyrell's advantage. There's one thing for taking your time, but constant pressure, I just think Tyrel is going to wilt, and under the effect of those punches to the head and to the body, and the effect of the nosebleed and the cut.
Oh, another right hand to the body by Bowe. Couple scoring jabs.
Trying to work the cut. Very, very little coming back from Tyrel right now. I don't think he's yet just talking about surviving. Now the ropes come into effect. But I do think he is just saving up his strength for a few desperation punches a fight. Around, I'm sorry. Yeah, just covering, nothing coming back. Come on. Bowe is accepting those clinches.
Tyrel Biggs, never a powerful fighter, Alex, who was able to muscle his way around the ring. That will almost certainly come into play later in this fight. And there, well, Riddick Bowe Jr. knows he's on television.
Yeah, it didn't appear too excited about it.
No. It has been a nonchalant Bowe family watching this fight.
His father has been described as a man who never saw a camera or a mirror he didn't like.
And a lot can be said that his son feels exactly the same way. Riddick Bowe in the white trunks, Tyrel Biggs in the black.
Good stiff jabs by Tyrel, but he's bailing out with him. He's throwing him going backwards.
And they don't appear to have much of an effect either.
You see Riddick there dropping his arms. He may be a little bit tired. There's been a tremendous pace for a heavyweight fight, Dan.
But if you had to walk into this fight right now and pick the guy who's 30 and pick the guy who's 23, I don't think you'd have much trouble.
No, but right now, in the closing seconds here of round number 5, I think Riddick Bowe is waiting for a second wind. He looks a little bit tired. Tyrel seems to have taken the initiative a little bit more.
Dear Thompson,
Honey, I ran out of
midway through waterproofing our new...
Here at Harris. I'm Dan Deerdorf, working along with Alex Swallow. Up to this point, down and a good right hand by Riddick Bowe. The fight has been controlled by Riddick Bowe with the exception of the third round where Tyrel Biggs landed a shot that hurt Bowe. But the balance of the fight to this point has belonged to the younger Riddick Bowe.
Pretty easy fight. I thought the score, Dan, the first 4 rounds, only the third going to Tyrel, 10-9 for Riddick. The last round was close because of Tyrel's rally at the end of the round, but I still gave it to Riddick Bowe and have him up by 3 points at the halfway mark.
Stop punching, Bowe. Come on, man.
One of the things that Eddie Futch has been trying to get Riddick Bowe to use more is his right hand. He's not the classic right-handed bomber that you would think. He popped a tendon in that hand, had surgery before the Olympics in '88. And you can see, Alex, he is making an effort to use it more.
Yeah, he says he's got full confidence back. I'm not quite sure. Eddie said he was terribly reluctant when he first took him over as a pro. Again, the Bowe jab. Ooh, good 1-2. Probably the best 1-2 by Tyrel.
Again, Biggs going to the body, and Bowe is just taking it.
And he didn't react well there, Dan. If you're looking for to answer questions about Riddick Bowe's chin, you have to say there that, I mean, he didn't look shaken or close to going down, but he didn't react well and didn't cover well after he was stunned.
Wild right hand by Bowe, sails over the top.
You might get away with that at this level against Tyrel Biggs, who is not known for being a strong puncher. But as he moves up to the highest levels of this division, he can't stand there like that.
Well, it's a much more cautious approach being used with Riddick Bowe than, say, Tyrel Biggs, who found himself in the ring with Mike Tyson after, what, 15 fights?
Yeah, they're stretching Riddick out a little bit, and I think, very smartly so. Some cynics believe that Tyrel Biggs' handlers are very, very smart boxing people. The dude was Lou and Dan and Shelley Finkel realized that Tyrel was just never going to be competitive, and rather than take a chance on him not getting to the big payday, they pushed him into it after 15 pro fights. His 2 losses after that to the likes of Francesco Damiani and Gary Mason might prove them correct.
A bad right hand there by Tyrel Biggs. But he told us one thing yesterday. He said, I'm not a coward. We're coming to the end of 6, and Biggs is proving that. Matt Kurohara, the trainer of Tyrel Biggs, working in his corner, trying to control that swelling around the left eye.
Ralph Citro in Riddick's corner, also using the end swell on his left eye. But of the two, Tyrel has the much greater problems.
The flow of blood hasn't been a problem, but you can see that it's beginning to swell close.
For those of you who followed Tyrel Biggs' career since he won a world championship as an amateur in 1981, his body looks stronger and harder, you must say, than he ever got in the past. He says he's the best condition he's ever been. All fighters say they're the best condition they've ever been. But in his case, it may well be true. Philadelphia, and Tyrel really has been, in some ways, the forgotten member of that team. So many of whom, Holyfield and Meldrick and Pernell Whitaker, who are among the top 3, maybe out of the top 5 fighters in the world today, pound for pound.
And Mark Breland was on that team who got all the attention at the time.
That's right, but Tyrel got a lot of attention in the beginning, but, you know, with his 3 straight losses, and it just kind of disappeared until this fight, and I just think it's nice that Meldrick still has enough feeling for Tyrel to come over here today and try to root him on. Real good counter right by Riddick that just missed. I mean, it landed, but it just missed, doing real damage. See Tyrel trying to counter with his own right there, and he missed badly.
All the way.
Is Riddick Bowe, Alex, pressing the fight?
Well, he's not pressing.
He should?
No, I mean, he may be pressing it as much as he can. But I think if he'd been able to continue coming forward and use this small 17-foot ring and stick the jab, work the body, I think he could have gotten Tyrel out of here by now. But Tyrel has fought very, very valiantly. I mean, give him credit. He got a lot of places in this fight where he could have laid down, and he absolutely has not. He told us he wasn't coming here just for a payday. He told us he wasn't an opponent. He may end up being an opponent, but he has a lot of heart.
It's Riddick Bowe pushing Biggs up against the rope. Biggs trying to counterpunch. Not landing much. From Harrah's Marina Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, Riddick Bowe and Tyrel Biggs are going at it here. One would make the assumption that Riddick Bowe is comfortably ahead on the scorecards.
Yeah, there really has been a lot of meaningful punching in the last 3 rounds, Dan.
This is scheduled for 10 rounds. No title is at stake. Oh, there's a good right hand by Riddick Bowe. Biggs tried a left himself open and took a shot as he did there.
You know, we've criticized Riddick for waiting, but on those 2 occasions, he waited and counterpunched very, very effectively.
Oh, and there was another good stiff left hand by Bowe.
And we've also criticized Tyrel for not taking the lead, but he says, hey, pal, I just tried to take the lead twice and I got drilled. Nothing like a couple of solid power punches and the counter-punching that to make a man forget about wanting to shoot the jab.
An attempt at a left uppercut that time by Biggs. Riddick Bowe's favorite combination is the left hand, the jab, followed by a right uppercut.
You just have to be amazed that Tyrel can get away with carrying his left so long. You'd say it's because he's tired, but he really does it from the opening bell. He's more comfortable shooting the jab from there. Now he's paying.
Good combinations, and right now Tyrel Biggs hanging on. He took a good left hand up against the ropes.
And if Riddick Bowe is as good a finisher as Eddie Futch says he is,
we'll find out.
He should use this final minute 10 to get Tyrel Biggs out of there.
Oh, a big right hand, and down goes Tyrel Biggs. An overhead chopping right hand.
I'm not sure how cleanly it landed. Tyrel pulls himself up.
50 seconds left in the 8th round.
They can stop this fight right now. You see the official for the commission up on the ring post, up on the
over. It's over. Frank Cappuccino stops the fight here in the 8th round. And Rock Newman goes right to Riddick Bowe, rather. And Biggs still down.
A tough fight. 2 tough men. I think Dan gave everything they have, and in the end, Riddick Bowe had too much.
We are going to bring you later on some excerpts of fights between Evander Holyfield and Michael Dokes and George Foreman and Jerry Cooney. Right now, though, let's go back to New York. We're going to go to a commercial break, rather. We'll be back here. Okay, we are back here in Atlantic City. Riddick Bowe won this fight. It was stopped in the 8th round, Alex.
Dan, this is the first knockdown. Riddick Bowe pushing out the jab, backing Tyrel onto the ropes. That was really not a clean right hand. I just think Tyrel gave out. He gave everything, as we said, and I just don't think he had anything left. That was not a clean right hand he went down from.
He did get back up, and then here's the end of the fight just seconds later.
And you'll see in the background, Dr. Frank Doggett of the New Jersey Commission will be, I'm not sure on this, no, I guess on this angle we won't see him, but the doctor was up on the apron. I'm not sure if Frank Cappuccino saw him or heard him, but he looked at Tyrel Biggs, and he jumps in and stopped the fight at that point, I believe. Let me just tell people what the scorecards were when you stopped him. You were ahead on one scorecard, 69-65, but two judges had you ahead by only 1 point, 67-66. Did you feel you were more in control of the fight than that?
I thought I was, but again, judges can see things that I can't. And, what can I say? I'm just happy that things turned out the way they did.
You came out right away in the first round. I thought you might have a chance of taking him out right away, Riddick, but he stopped you in your tracks with a left hook. You hit him with the right hand. He got you back with the left.
Well, actually, he didn't. I, thought that I should slow down a little bit because I needed to work. I could have took him out anytime I got ready. So, again, I needed to work. I hadn't fought in a couple of months. But I don't know whoever said Tyrel couldn't punch. He can punch.
Yeah, he fought a very valiant fight. We really should say that he gave you the kind of work that you needed to get to the highest levels of the heavyweight division. In the third round also, Riddick, it seemed, you've always said that you need to learn how to relax in the ring. It seems like you got a little bit too relaxed in the third round, and you clowned a little bit, and he seemed to stun you a little bit there. You came back well.
Well, he thought he stunned me, and you thought he stunned me, but again, it's a small
and he
thing.
stunned you, really.
It's a small thing to a giant. He did, but I didn't want him to know that. But I was able to recuperate and get the job done.
How important was the body punching?
For Tyrel, he seemed to get weak as I hit him to the body. So when I went back to the corner, Eddie Futch told me to just maintain the pressure on the body, and that's what I did.
Let me bring in Eddie Futch. Here's Hedgeman Lewis, the trainer. And Eddie, how far away is Riddick in your mind from a title shot?
Well, I think he's less than a year away now, really. He gained a lot of experience against Biggs tonight. Biggs did a lot of things that a young man ought to be exposed to, and he was.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Congratulations, Riddick. Let's go back to Dan.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, Alex. Oh, and another. You could see that last uppercut landing flush on the chin. And Tony Tubbs is up against the ropes.
And hurt.
Tony Tubbs is throwing nothing back.
Remember, Riddick Bowe had Tyrel Biggs hurt early in his fight and could not finish him. Did catch up with him later in the fight.
He actually had Biggs hurt much quicker than this. He hurt Biggs about 10 seconds into the fight. We're here in round one. And already a tough experience for Tony Tubbs.
But as you watch the learning of Riddick Bowe, right now he's making a mistake. He's letting Tony Tubbs lay inside with him. When he's got him hurt, he's got an advantage. He should be getting distance with the jab and throwing hard punches.
Work out of there. Get those arms out.
You can hear Joe Cortez, the referee, telling the fighters to work their way out. He's the referee that doesn't come in and break up every time the fighters are in close. Oh, and another good left, and then another right by Riddick Bowe.
And the surprising thing here, Dan, is that Riddick really is right up there in terms of hand speed with Tony Tubbs. Tony seems to have lost some of his speed, and Riddick is matching him.
Bowe's camp was actually, Alex, worried when Tubbs came in what they thought was better shape than they anticipated. But it has been all Riddick Bowe. Well, you can see Tubbs had to spin all the way around after a wild right.
You saw Tony score his best punch of the fight, a left hook, but although Tony might land some punches that look like they should do some damage, he is not a power puncher at all. He doesn't plan himself, he backs off, he's got his weight back. He doesn't commit enough to a punch to hurt anybody.
The final seconds here of the first round. Remember, we're scheduled for 10. A solid beginning for Riddick Bowe. It wasn't a bad enough round for Tony Tubbs. He actually took a strong right hand from Riddick Bowe in the last second of the first round.
Remember, Tony Tubbs has only been stopped once in his career, that by Mike Tyson after Tony got off to a good start of their fight in Tokyo. Mike caught him with a left hook late in the second round, and Tony's cornerman jumped in immediately and stopped the fight.
Riddick Bowe right now content to stand in the middle of the ring and let Tubbs circle around. Riddick Bowe yesterday telling us that he was going to be the aggressor, that he did not want Tubbs to get set, that he wanted him to constantly be fighting off balance. Called Tubbs what? A slickster.
Tony Tubbs came in in the ring bone dry when the bell for round 1 started. He is right now pouring sweat. That first round got his attention.
A very cautious round so far by Riddick Bowe.
These two men have sparred in the gym, Dan, and I think they both know that they like to counterpunch, and I think that's why they're both waiting so much.
There's Riddick's wife, Judy, who is ringside.
What's the head? What's the head? Let me hold.
I believe some of Riddick's children are here in attendance as well. A very affable young man, Riddick Bowe.
You always get worried, Dan, to have two guys who have been sparring partners. You always worry when Riddick Bowe's people take a guy that they've sparred with. You think, well, they know that this guy represents no threat. The strange thing about this fight is that, according to people who have no alignment with either camp, Tony Tubbs gave Riddick Bowe all he wanted in those sparring sessions out in Las Vegas. And the people who saw those sparring sessions, when they heard that Tony Tubbs would be the opponent, were amazed.
But wouldn't you agree that Bowe's camp also assumed that Tubbs would show up for this fight somewhere around 250 pounds in the high 240s?
That's right, but what Riddick said was, Tony may think that I'm going to be the same fighter I was in the gym. I'm going to be much better on the day of the fight.
I think Tyrel Biggs made sure of that. This is not the same fighter that Tony Tubbs sparred with. 20 seconds left here in the second round. An interesting weekend in the heavyweight division.
There you saw Riddick have trouble lining up Tony Tubbs. Tony moving a little bit laterally each way, and Riddick missed 3 straight punches.
Somewhat of a cautious round here for Riddick Bowe. End of the second. Tony Tubbs in the black trunks. Riddick Bowe on the left of your screen wearing the white trunks with the red trim. So far this fight, as expected, belongs to Riddick Bowe. Tony Tubbs in trouble in the first round, though, came back, and Riddick Bowe, Alex, surprisingly, really didn't press the issue much in the second round.
Oh, that was surprising. The other thing that's made this fight boring so far is the fact that because Tony got hurt so quick in round 1, so far he's been fighting just to kind of survive and not to win. And he's getting eaten up on the inside by Riddick Bowe.
Yeah, the uppercut of Riddick Bowe. He landed 3 solid ones in the first round, and again, we saw one land.
The interesting thing about Riddick Bowe, Dan, is, as you saw just in that exchange, although he's got long arms, a big man, very physically gifted, best combination of the fight by Tony Tubbs.
Exactly right.
You would want Riddick, and Eddie Futch does, want him to fight at distance, using the jab to keep his man on the outside. But he is very effective on the inside and getting better all the time.
There is Tony Tubbs' wife, Ingrid. She's certainly interested here at ringside. Tony Tubbs makes his home in Pacific Palisades, California. This flew in here to Atlantic City yesterday morning. Good look at that jab of Riddick Bowe coming right at you. We are in the third round, a little over halfway gone. This fight's scheduled for 10. And Tony Tubbs beginning to look, Alex, like a fighter with a little more confidence.
He seems to be getting into a little bit more.
Bring out clean.
Riddick Bowe upset that he ate so many of Tyrel Biggs' jabs back in early March. Vowed to move his head more, that he spent the last 7 weeks working on slipping that jab.
You
notice any difference?
Well, I think he's doing a little bit better, but yeah, good strong jab by Riddick Bowe. I think, the key has been so far the fact that he hurt Tony early and really knocked him right out of his plan. So that Tony hasn't been firing as many jabs.
I know one thing, there is clearly an audible difference between the punches of Riddick Bowe and Tony Tubbs. Bowe's punches just echoing through the building here. This fight is scheduled for 10 as we come to the end of the third. To get round 4 started, I'm Dan Deerdorf here in Atlantic City along with Alex Wallow. Glad you're with us here on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
You saw that combination, Dan, that Tony Tubbs scored in the last round. You wonder, why does he try to do that more often? Why does he just pick so much and be, essentially a negative fighter? And the answer is, I think he just doesn't have enough confidence in his conditioning to think that he can put punches together and throw hard punches consistently through a 10-round, a 12-round fight. Why a man with as much talent as Tony has wouldn't get himself in absolutely peak condition to try to go after the kind of millions of dollars that are available to heavyweights, even as contenders for the heavyweight championship, is one of the great mysteries.
I doubt there's a man in America who weighs over 200 pounds that isn't aware of the kind of money that Evander Holyfield and George Foreman took to the bank last night.
Yeah, and I saw you working with the heavy bag on your front porch in St. Louis.
It's enough to make you think about it. But George, what, a minimum of $12.5 million, and Holyfield in excess of 20?
And if the pay-per-view numbers are what they are reported to be, both fighters will make several million in excess of their guarantee.
Well, something tells me that has not escaped Riddick Bowe's attention or Rock Newman, his manager.
If these two heavyweights don't start putting some more punches together, I think we're going to have a lot of financial reports on pay-per-view boxing.
Again, a reminder that coming up later in our show that we'll have a report and interviews. Alex talked to both Evander Holyfield and George Foreman. That'll be up before the end of the show after this fight. Cortez steps in, separates the fighters. That jab is finding glove. Well, one of America's great fight fans is here in attendance today. There's Gene Hackman. He was at ringside as well last night, and if there's a big fight, Gene Hackman is there. And he is not there to be noticed or sign autographs. He's there because he's a tremendous fight fan.
And you know that because he comes and watches the 4-round prelims and stays through the walkout fights.
Riddick Bowe talked of being the aggressor. He certainly is, but again, spending a lot of time in the middle of the ring, letting Tubbs circle to the outside.
Bring out. Let him go.
Round 4 is coming to a close. Stay with us, won't you? City. That's Riddick Bowe on the left. Tony Tubbs on your right. Oh, and there's a good right hand from Riddick Bowe. Tony Tubbs was in real trouble in the first round. It was a typical start for Riddick Bowe, getting his opponent in trouble. But then, for some reason, Riddick Bowe really took it easy and allowed Tony Tubbs to regroup in the second round, and he appears to be unfazed.
You know, you almost get the feeling watching Riddick that he's trying so hard to learn his lesson that he's a little bit mechanical right now. You can see him thinking what Eddie Futch has put in him and what he's to do. And he's got to just get this stuff to become second nature so he reacts more and doesn't think quite as much. And that's just all part of the learning process.
And if you're going to learn, it's hard to imagine having someone in your corner more knowledgeable than Eddie Futch. And I guess a key factor there is what Riddick Bowe thinks of Futch. He refers to him as his Papa Smurf, and obviously an extremely close relationship between the two. Speaking of close relationships, I want to pass along our congratulations to Jimmy Davis, audio technician here at ABC, who's retiring after 39 years with our company. Jimmy and his wife Imelda are going to move to upstate New York, a town called Edinburgh on the great Sacandaga Lake, Alex. And we're going to miss Jimmy, a part of our Monday night booth, the 20 Indy 500. Good luck, Jimmy. Happy retirement.
One of the great audio men and a lovable characters on the scene at ABC Sports.
We want to remind our ABC stations that at the end of this round, we're going to be taking a station break.
Break out. Break out.
There, you saw Riddick trying it there, putting jab together, not single punches. He wasn't effective with it there. Double jab again.
But on none of those double jabs did he follow up with a right hand.
No, he didn't. But he did learn one thing. When he puts jabs together, nothing comes back from Tony Tubbs. Because Tony, you know, there it is again. It's tough to counter off a double jab.
Come on, work out, come on. Work out, Bo.
Riddick's just pushing it. He's not snapping it, and he's not accurate with it. But, you know, you just like to see him trying it.
Sure. Come on, work out. Watch your head. Give me a good shot.
There, it's a sign of the hand speed of Tony Tubbs.
And you can see the look on Bowe's face that caught him by surprise. The end of round 5, ABC's Wide World of Sports will return after this word from our ABC. The 6th round here from Harrah's Casino Hotel in Atlantic City. Dan Deerdorf, Alex Wallow ringside. This is Tony Tubbs and Riddick Bowe. Ooh, and Riddick Bowe working low to the body, lands a couple of good shots. One of them borderline.
And Tony Tubbs retaliated pretty effectively. I think Riddick Bowe would be well served to try to pick up the pace here. This kind of slow pace favors a guy who is not well conditioned, who is not, you know, bred to the distance. To use the Derby parlance we're going to get into very soon.
And Alex, of course, referring to the fact that Riddick Bowe is 23 and Tony Tubbs is 33.
And in Riddick's corner between rounds, Eddie Futch, his 80-year-old trainer who's been around longer than anybody who's active today and knows more and has more to teach. Really wanted Riddick to get into the range and to land some body shots. Good counter left there by Tony Tubbs.
Sure was.
So far, Riddick hasn't been able to do it.
Let's go.
But Alex, I guess you have to agree that Tony Tubbs and 7 weeks ago Tyrel Biggs are the type of opponent that Riddick Bowe needs to face if he's to continue to grow.
Yeah, he doesn't learn anything getting put in with guys who fall down on the first punch, but at the same time, you know, as we said in the opening, Dan, these are valuable learning experiences, and hats off to Rock Newman and Eddie Futch for taking guys who can fight. But at the same time, these kind of opponents are exposing the things Riddick doesn't have right now in terms of the ability to control the pace, to dictate the pace, to finish a guy when you got him hurt. And as we said earlier also, he's a little bit mechanical. Whether he will stay mechanical, as I said, will be determined down the road when he's had an opportunity to let all the things he's trying to digest become natural to him.
Again, you saw Bowe go to the uppercut. That one wasn't as clean as some of the ones he landed previously.
Nor is he throwing him with the same kind of conviction. He should be wasting punches on the inside. He should be maybe taking a step back, get a little bit of punching room, and throw hard punches.
You guys are wrestling, both of you guys. Come on, let's go.
Joe Cortez admonishing both fighters, accusing them of wrestling. Riddick Bowe closes out number 6 with a flurry. And Alex, Tony Tubbs, who's on the right in the black trunks. Riddick Bowe wearing the white. Tony Tubbs is still here, but I don't have him winning a round yet.
Well, I think you can make a case for him in a couple of rounds where, you know, there were a lot of really meaningful blows. But you have to have Bowe ahead comfortably. And you just don't see at this point whether Tony Tubbs has the kind of game plan that's going to get him back into the fight. He might have the game plan, whether he has the conditioning to execute the game plan has always been the key, and it's always been his downfall. And really, at age 33, the big edge he had, his hand speed, you have to say that's diminished somewhat, too. It's not totally gone. He's still got some quick hands, but not what they used to be.
Bowe feigning with a left came in then and badly off balance sailed over the top of Tony Tubbs.
That was the case of a former outstanding amateur looking very amateurish.
Oh, good left hand by Tubbs.
And that time, Tony beat Riddick to the punch, and I believe he hurt him a little bit, just stunned him momentarily. And if I wasn't sure of that, I'm now sure since Riddick made a face like he wasn't hurt. Tony does not follow up.
Again, it looked like, though, that the reason Bowe got hit like that is he was off balance again. He was a little top-heavy, leaning far too forward.
He was trying to throw a punch, and Tony landed one before he did, and he was off balance.
A reminder that at the conclusion of this fight, we're going to have a report on last night's heavyweight championship fight between Evander Holyfield and George Foreman. We will have interviews with both of the fighters.
Oh, we got it. Come on, get the thumbs out. Get him out. Come on, watch your head. Watch your head.
Meanwhile, we're watching other heavyweight action.
Let go, Bowe.
And Riddick Bowe, the man on the right, certainly has to view himself eventually as a man who's going to step into the ring and fight for the title.
Hold you guys. All right, let him work out.
At least I hope he is. Everybody else is viewing him as such.
A lot of brawling, a lot of wrestling, but there were some clean punches landed in that exchange on the inside. Tough to score those kinds of exchanges. Watched a little bit of movement that Tony Tubbs gives. The problem with it is that he goes both ways. He moves both sides. And that's giving Riddick some trouble in terms of cutting the ring off to land his punches. There he's moving left, but see, he comes right back to the right. And Riddick's not able to get set.
Well, if this fight does go the distance, 3 judges at ringside, Frank Caro, Gene Williams, and Richard Strange. We're scheduled for 10. This is the end of 7. 8. We're in Atlantic City at Harrah's. Riddick Bowe and Tony Tubbs. And the fighting moves inside. Oh, there's that uppercut again. Again, that uppercut by Riddick Bowe, and another right hand scores. That time when both fighters were in close, it was obvious to see the scoring punches landed by Bowe.
Eddie Futch told Riddick in between rounds, you can win this fight on the jab. And I think he's right. I think he can win it that way. And the first obligation of a fighter is to win the fight. But in this case, I think Riddick Bowe has an additional burden on him. The burden of being exciting, of being entertaining. He's doing the first thing. He's not doing the second.
But if you had to pick one,
I like his
you would win. But you're right. Look at George Foreman. Look at the money he made off of the entertainment factor.
The one thing I must say I like about Riddick in talking to him before this fight, Dan, was, you know, we all knew he had a great physical makeup, but, you know, as we said when he fought Tyrel Biggs, a lot of people questioned his mental makeup, his commitment. And he has been much more serious, much more mature, relaxed, less to clowning around, and that really bodes well for his future down the road. But if you hear all the talk, which I think you're going to hear about Riddick as a possible immediate challenger for either Holyfield or Mike Tyson, take it with a huge grain of salt, because he is not ready.
And I don't think you'll hear it coming from Riddick. Riddick is the last person to say, I want my shot now, I'm ready, I'm going to be the champion. He's a patient man, and he's a child, Alex. He's only 23 years old.
That's right, and I think Rock Newman, his manager, is smart enough about the public relations aspects of this business to know that it's good PR to let your fighter's name be bandied about, but I think he also knows boxing enough to know that he's not ready.
A fight that does so many million in 1991 will do even more in 92 or 93.
Plus your fighter's got a chance to win.
Break out, please. Break out. Let's go.
We're in the 8th round of a fight scheduled for 10.
Or a better chance to win. I mean, you know, sometimes a fighter can wait 10 years and never develop into the kind of man who can win a world championship. And I think the jury is still out on Riddick.
It has been a very solid and comprehensive effort by Riddick Bowe. He should be well ahead on the cards, but there are 2 rounds to go. Tubbs and Bowe, a 10-round non-title fight. The title fight was last night, and again a reminder, we'll have a report on that coming up at the conclusion of this fight. A report on the fight between Evander Holyfield and George Foreman. Ooh, a trio of good lefts that time by Tony Tubbs. And here's the most action we've seen since the first round.
Best exchange of the fight. Riddick opened the round with a good scoring right hand. Tony Tubbs took it, came back with a series of 4 and 5 scoring punches. Riddick took those and came back. This might be the kind of the round at this stage in round 9 where Tony Tubbs knows that he's got enough in his tank to last 2 more rounds, and he's going to let it all hang out. He has to know he's behind. He just hasn't thrown enough punches to win.
Well, there was a wild right by Tubbs.
Air ball
was a good 6 inches short. Air ball is a very good discussion. Alex, a crossover term, huh? You know, a reminder I should pass along that a week from tomorrow is going to be the 30th anniversary show of ABC's Wide World of Sports. And Alex, I want to lead you into this. A good segment of that show is going to be on some of the great boxing that's taken place on ABC over the years.
Dan, boxing really has played a big role in the 30-year history of Wide World, and I had a lot of fun working on those segments, and I think for the boxing fans in the audience, they will get a tremendous kick out of seeing especially the retrospective of Muhammad Ali's career, and I hope they share my feelings about a visit I made to Muhammad at his farm in Michigan a couple of weeks ago, because it was a very special moment with an unbelievably special man.
And I think you will put aside some, I'm going to call them myths that are floating around about as to the state of Ali's condition and his ability to care for himself.
Well, the one thing, I went out there, Dan, scared to death because of the way I had seen Muhammad. He looks bad when you see him walking and when you hear him talking. His movements are very slow and his speech is very low and slurred. But when you spend time with him, as I had a chance to do, you understand that that he is in there. The mind is 100% intact, and that was very, very reassuring to me. And he still enjoys life in a special way.
That's a week from tomorrow, right here on your ABC station, the 30th anniversary special of ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Let me say, Dan, I'm not trying to be an apologist for boxing or for the damage that Muhammad suffered in the ring, and we all wish he hadn't done it, but he is in better shape than I have been led to believe.
We have 1 round to go. Tony Tubbs and Riddick Bowe. Stay with us. Fighters to touch gloves, they do, and the final round is underway.
Tony Tubbs, the counterpunch, he goes back, lays on the ropes, and then rips a punch to the body.
Well, Riddick Bowe really selling out on that right hand. Finds himself off balance, and Tubbs has done a good job all fight long of throwing in a decent counterpunch every now and then.
You know, those kind of punches you see right there are amateur punches where you just want to put the white portion of the glove on the opponent. In the professional ranks, you have to make the punches count for something.
And that a punch that appears to expend a lot more energy than damage it exacts from your opponent.
Let's look at the negatives and the positives in this fight, Dan. For Riddick Bowe, this is the longest he has ever gone. He had an 8-round decision, and all his other fights have been less. So he's into a 10th round. I think Riddick knew coming in that he would have to go the 10-round distance with Tony Tubbs. He's a durable opponent, smart veteran who knows how to survive, and has. And it's possible that the kind of pacing that you've seen from Riddick is just a product of that fear of the distance, that unknown territory. In terms of negatives, I just think Riddick has not shown yet that he is the instinctive kind of fighter you have to be at world-class level.
I agree. I think back to what you said. He needs to think less and react more.
But I don't think it's necessarily bad at this stage, to fight this kind of a fight. While he's learning.
After our fight, we'll have our report and our interviews with George Foreman and Evander Holyfield. 1 minute left here in the 10th and final round of this heavyweight fight. And Tony Tubbs is trying his darndest to knock him out. because that, for sure, is his only chance of winning this fight. Oh, a good left hand right to the solar plexus by Tubbs.
If you're trying to gauge the opposition in determining this performance, remember one thing about Tony Tubbs. He's only lost 2 fights. Both were the men who held the world championship, Mike Tyson and Tim Witherspoon. He is a difficult opponent, not easy to look good with.
And I think Alex, a man who desperately wanted to show that he's just not washed up.
You're right, Dan. You just wonder why he didn't take this opportunity to get himself in tip-top condition.
There's the bell. That's the end of the fight. So we will be back with the decision and then our report on Evander Holyfield and George Foreman, their undisputed heavyweight bout that took place here last night. We'll be right back. Announcer, here's Ed Darius.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Harris, Atlantic City, New Jersey, the scoring by points as follows. Judges Frank J. Cairo and Richard Strange each score 96-94, while Judge Gene Williams, she observed 97-93. For the winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated, Riddick Bowe.
So Riddick Bowe, the winner, no surprise as he wins.
Turn to the winner in today's fight, Riddick Bowe. Riddick, I must say, we had you scored by a fairly wide margin, but on 2 judges' scorecards, it was 2 points. Did you think it was that close?
I thought I beat him, you know, with no problem and what have you. Again, just like the last time, I can't see what the judges see, so what can I say?
What did you learn in the fight? What was the difference in this fight?
Oh, boy. I learned more in this fight than all my fights put together. I mean, this guy is cagey, he's slick, and, you know, he's a veteran. He made me earn the victory today.
Where do you go from here, Riddick?
Home.
A lot of people are talking about you, even manager Rock Newman, a possible title fight this year as early as perhaps June. I'm sorry, the fall. What do you think?
Again, we're moving along, and if they feel as though by June I'm ready, then so be it.
Thanks very much for talking to us. Good luck down the road.
Thank you.